Generally, when you're a jazz player, this is a really great grip to use. A lot of the great jazz grooves and great jazz drummers in history have used this grip, as well as a lot of the modern drummers that are really doing an excellent job with it. Basically, we're going to take that pinch point that we talked about, where we divide the stick into thirds, and we're going to put it into our left, what would be the webbing of your left hand. We don't want it to be out here like this. We want to kind of keep it way inside the back webbing of our hand. We're going to keep that pinch point there, and our stick is going to move by 3 different mechanisms. There's actually probably a few more than that, but we're going to deal with 3 of them. The first one is just by controlling the drumstick with the movement of our thumb. So this is going to happen, and we're going to get that stick to bounce just by using our thumb. Now again, if we're not on the correct fulcrum point or pinch point, this just isn't going to work for you. So we want to make sure that you've got your thumb able to make that movement without the rest of your hand really doing much. The next part that we'll talk about is using our wrist. We're going to rotate our wrist, and just by rotating our wrist, I'm sort of not using my fingers, or at least I'm not trying to. That stick bounces back and forth just with the control of our wrist. The third way is going to be a little bit more obscure. Now this is where a lot of the differences come in. If you're playing in, say, a marching band or a drum corps, there's going to be very specific rules and guidelines that whatever the drum tech and drum instructors will tell you to play. There's lots of latitude with this. There's lots of different ways to hold sticks, and sometimes the information seems a little bit conflicting, but it really, there's more than one correct way to do this. With jazz, the rules are a little bit looser. So what I'm going to show you right now is kind of the jazz version of this, where we're going to keep our thumb on top, and these 2 fingers are going to provide the third form of motion. We talked about our thumb, we talked about our wrist, and now we're going to talk about these top 2 fingers that are actually going to be able to help propel the stick. Now, you might say, well, how do I know how much of which technique to use? Well, there's really no one correct answer for it. You'll just have to get a feel for it, and different playing situations will call for different areas of your hand. This is a very, very complex grip. It takes a long time to master this. But when you begin to play, start playing some simple rudiments with this, we want to keep our thumb straight up our arm, so that has to be in line. Our 2 fingers have to be on top. Usually we let our ring finger kind of come out. I don't know if you can see that, but it sort of sets on the last joint of our ring finger, and these 2 fingers go on top. The index finger being way on top to help with propelling the stick downward. The middle finger helps propel the stick downward, but it also controls the back and forth movement of the stick. So those are the basic mechanisms that move that stick in that way. So we can play single stroke rolls, double stroke rolls. Again, we'll get into that a little bit more in the future. But just remember, don't get yourself totally hung up on technique. Sometimes people spend all their time reading books and analyzing one point of view and another point of view, and sometimes you can spend a whole career or lifetime doing that. And I find it kind of funny because a lot of times you'll see perfect explanations either on videos or in books, and then you'll see some of the greatest drummers of all time, guys like Buddy Rich, Louie Bellson, and you can see them in various areas of their playing and soloing, holding the sticks completely wrong sometimes, according to some. That are, kind of into the whole theory of moving a drumstick. So, and if you've never seen Buddy Rich or Louie Bellson, go YouTube them right now, and you'll see what I mean. I mean, go figure. They're just some of the greatest drummers that have ever lived. And so make sure that when you're studying this, that you apply a very natural approach to holding the sticks. If it hurts, you're probably holding something wrong. You do need to build up your endurance. So you have to make sure that you're trying to develop yourself slowly at a reasonable level. Practice in front of a mirror or with a video camera, and that will help you out quite a bit. So hopefully this will get you started. Please stay tuned for more tips that will be coming down. We'll be doing more editions of this sort of thing on various subjects of drumming. I'm going to follow this clip up with a short drum solo that will demonstrate some of the things that I've just talked about today. So thanks very much for watching. Don't forget, check out the website at www.spevakpercussionconcepts.com. Thanks very much.